Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of In the Kitchen. We are here after a big rivalry weekend. The regular season is over, unfortunately, in college football. And it's kind of bittersweet because you want to see the playoff, you want to see the bowl games. Like that's really what like the whole season builds to. But gosh, more than any other sport, I'm just a sucker for the regular season when it comes to college football. Like the pageantry of these home games is to me what makes college football so great. Not that I don't love the playoff or the bowl games or anything. Like I am all for coaches getting dunked in Bass mayo and a team feasting on a live Pop Tart somehow after a game. And like the playoffs usually have great games, and I love those as well. I'm very excited to see the home playoff games. But boy, unlike any other sport, the regular season in college football is just so great that I do feel a little bit sad every time it's over. I do.
Absolutely.
And
It's
I know a
like
lot.
one step. Oh, yeah, it's
Oh,
like
go
one
ahead.
step closer to football being over. Like it's like
Yeah.
your first like realization. Like, oh man,
hmm
like we have less time than more time.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I kind of been putting it off because like week 14, and realistically, boy, you're barely even into your conference schedule by the time the season's halfway over in modern college football.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, geez, it's week 7. The season's over. The season's already over. And, like if you're like my team and you lost a game in week 2 and it kind of set you up for failure potentially the rest of the season, it's a difficult season, but we did finish the regular season this weekend with rivalry weekend. And I think it was a pretty solid weekend, guys. I mean, a lot of the results ended up chalk, but you also had some crazy upsets and it was just a lot of entertaining games, frankly, if I'm just being honest. It was a fun weekend for some and a really disappointing weekend for others. And the whole weekend, how I'm going to remember this, and definitely the biggest story of the weekend, is the game, Ohio State losing to Michigan. And I'm going to be honest, of all of this is the 4th time they've lost them in a row now. This is, and I didn't even think this could be possible, but like this is by far the worst one of all of the other losses. This is the most embarrassing. This is the most embarrassing.
Definitely.
Like Ohio State has lost to Purdue recently. They've lost to Iowa, in 2015. This is way more embarrassing. This is way worse because Ohio State had everything in front of them. They have the most expensive roster this year. They have a super team, a team that I said many times I believe would win the national title. I felt was the best team in the country. They get this game at home to avenge the losses of last year. They had the excuse of like, oh, Michigan was cheating. Oh, Connor Stallions for the past few years. They get rid of Jim Harbaugh. They get Connor Stallions out of there, and they have a Michigan team that is very depleted. Like Michigan fans will tell you, this team's not very good. This is not the best Michigan team they've seen in a little bit. This Michigan team got like Davis Warren. I think he's a sweet guy. I think a lot of Michigan fans will tell you Davis Warren's not the best Michigan quarterback they're going to see. All right, he's just not. And Ohio State still can't do it. They still couldn't beat them. Ryan Day, he's 1-4 versus Michigan. I see that said all the time. I can't even remember when he beat Michigan. I can't even remember.
Yeah,
I like when did that
His
happen?
first year.
It had to have been because he's lost 4 in a row now.
That's 4 in a row.
I don't think they played in the COVID year. It must have been 2019, but I don't even remember it. Like I couldn't tell you a single play that happened when he beat Michigan. All I remember is these games. And to have this offense that you have that looked so good against Indiana last week, you have Will Howard. I said he finally looked like a championship level quarterback, and I still think he did against Indiana. To then come into this game and just look awful, to look terrible. And now, granted, I mean, like the Michigan's offense wasn't exactly stellar either, but they still won the game, right? Michigan hasn't been able to complete forward passes all year.
No.
They were 20-point underdogs in this game, and Ohio State still lost them. I think it's incredibly embarrassing. And here's what I think too. I'm going to be honest. To me, there's one other game that I think can contend for it. I would be right now. This feels like the biggest upset of the season. I think there's the only other one that I think could contend for it is Vanderbilt beating Alabama. It's the first time in forever that they did it. I think the point spread was similar. I think it was like 22 or something. This one was 19. It started out at 21. But in terms of just like holy embarrassment, I think this is worse than Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. I think this is worse. And
Vanderbilt turned out not to be a bad football team.
No, well, I think they have a similar record to Michigan now. But like Alabama knew this was like I know they were coming off of the Georgia win, but they knew in their heart this is the post Saban year.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, if you could win a national championship, sure, but like, it's not like we have to. This was the we have to win team for Ohio State.
$20 million
for Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Like, you have to beat this Michigan team. And he still couldn't. And it's also, this is at home. This is in Columbus. Like, at least Alabama could use the excuse of, like, we had to travel. I don't know, maybe the airplane food was giving food poisoning or something. They could at least use that. But Ohio State couldn't even use that.
It's not a long trip.
I think those two are like you could. I'd hear your argument on either one, but like in my heart and soul, I feel like this is the most embarrassing loss
worse.
of the season and the biggest upset of the season.
This feels worse.
I say, like, if you're comparing the two, I say, like, I think Vanderbilt's a better team than Michigan. They can score points. They like. Michigan can't throw a forward pass, and Ohio State got beat by them at home. Like, I want to sit there and be like, how did this happen? Like, I still don't understand. Now I know it was bad turnovers,
4 red zone turnovers.
Yeah, 4 red zone turnovers, but like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Now
it's comical.
You can use the thing of the red zone turnovers as well. But you know who also was fumbling away their red zone moments? Michigan was. Like, Ohio State had double the opportunities.
This game was awful. This game was terrible.
They had double the opportunities to do it. Like that when Jack Sawyer got that pick over Davis Warren, which thank God they won this game because that was awful.
That was the most wide open touchdown I've ever seen.
I cannot believe that he threw it to Jack Sawyer there. When they got that interception, I was like, this is how Ohio State wins. Now they're going to go drive down the field, score a touchdown. But then they did nothing. They moved the ball like 1 yard. And I think, and you got to remember too, this is a Michigan defense that is missing guys. They're missing Will Johnson this week and potentially the best corner in the country.
Yeah.
Like they were, and then not on defense, but like they're missing Colston Loveland, one of their best players on offense. Like on an offense that was already struggling, they're missing their best player. On a defense that was good, but not as great as last year, they're missing their best player. And it still was enough to beat Ohio State. This
and their
super
guy
team.
That's supposed to be the guy, the Donovan Edwards, he's been non-existent this year also.
Why? Speaking of Donovan, why is it that in every big game that Michigan plays, the backup running back just becomes really Bush? Why does that
happens every time?
Like Ohio State had a million moments to potentially take the game away from Michigan in the fourth quarter, and this running back Mullings just defeated them on every single opportunity he could. Like that 3rd and 6, Ohio State could have gotten a stop. They would have gotten the ball back.
Yeah.
As soon as they got into the red zone there, the game was over. The game was over. They couldn't do anything about it. This is a difficult weekend too. I don't know what to do with Will Howard anymore. I think we might have seen the best from him against Indiana. Like I stand by. He played good against Indiana. That's not changing anything. But when you can see like he can do this as well, where it's this bad out there, it's not good. Like that is not good for your quarterback resume as well. And Ohio State too, we're just so used to these elite quarterbacks as well that like we went through CJ Stroud. Even like JT Barrett was like JT Barrett would be great on this team. Like JT Barrett would have made it figure out. Now to see them with like okay quarterbacks on this team, they look like sore thumbs out there.
I thought the best part about all of this while we're on there, like, and we'll get to this game in a minute. McCown for Syracuse balled out.
I was about to say, winner of the weekend was Kyle McCord for sure.
I do want to save some of the McCord stuff, but it has to feel good for McCord that I don't even know if he saw the final result of Ohio State Michigan because the game came on right after. He's probably warming up.
Yeah.
So I'm sure someone whispered it to him or something. Like he had to
put it on the big screen or something at some point.
Yeah, but you got to feel great that it's like you just beat a top 10 team. You balled out. You had a great season. You're the king of Syracuse right now. You're the king. Like you are the guy on campus right now. And I know he had a bad game against Pitt or whatever a while ago. But like you got to be feeling great if you're Kyle McCord. No, 100%.
Especially on the same day. But yeah, well, I know we're going to get there. But yeah, I thought that was so comical.
So here's the thing with Ohio State that I want to get to. I have a couple of points in terms of just big picture because I don't really want to spend the whole. Oh, actually, do we want to do big picture or do we want to talk about postgame first? Now that I think about it. Let's talk about postgame.
Yeah.
The brawl to start all the brawls. We had 4 big brawls after the game. And I do believe that this one domino effect caused the other ones because you have Michigan players going to plant their flag on the Ohio State midfield. Starts a brawl. You got players everywhere getting eventually maced. Here's my opinion on this. I think if you go to plant your flag in the opposing team's stadium, especially in a rivalry game, or especially one that is as heated as Ohio State, Michigan, you should expect someone to do something about it. Like, you shouldn't expect just to run around free. Baker Mayfield tricked everyone that you can just do it and no one's going to do anything about it, because he did it so late. And I don't know, I guess like it's not the first time people have ever tried to go on the logo, but it definitely was like, I don't think Baker could get away with that today. And now, like, I don't know if you realize what he caused, like the ripple effect of like into 2020
chaos.
Regardless,
Love it, though.
I think it's Ohio State has the right to defend their logo. I do think macing players is crazy. Like, I've seen a lot of brawls in football. Like, I saw multiple of them this weekend. I've never seen one where I've been like, they have to get the riot police out now. We have to get the mace out. We have to get the stun bullets out. Like, that has never crossed my mind watching any football brawl. Like, I think they can usually always be figured out. Like, I don't think I don't have footage of it. Like, I don't think there was a Michigan players assaulting officers. I don't think so. I didn't see anything like that. Were they? I don't know.
No.
Okay,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Like, I just think
not.
that's my
Jeremiah
stance on
Smith was pushing referees over during the game, but it's different.
Yeah, I don't think they were equipped with flags and whistles, not mace. But so I think that's crazy. And I wonder a little bit too, like, if this was at Michigan, it was the same thing. Like, I wonder, just because I didn't see any Ohio State players getting maced, I do wonder if a little bit of it was like, I have the opportunity to do this, and I don't really like
I'm
this
going to do it.
I don't know, a little bit.
And it could be justified, yeah.
But then this caused, I mean, I don't want to act like, okay, if Arizona State was going to beat Arizona regardless, would they have done the pitchfork at the midfield logo? Maybe. But it felt like the rest of the day was now like, we've seen Ohio State and Michigan do this. Every team is going to do this now today. But yeah, it just became a brawl. There was like 4 fights in the Iron Bowl. None of them were at midfield, but there was about like 4 fights.
There's a big one
in the middle of the game. Do you guys have any other takes on the antics off the field? It was strange to see, I will say, like Jack Sawyer's going nuts. He's losing his mind. Like, Ryan Day is just helpless there. Like, he's just standing there watching it all. He's not like, he's defending his players, but he wasn't really like, it didn't really seem like he was super, like, it didn't seem like he wanted to do a ton about Michigan planting their flag at midfield. Where I think that's a lot of people's criticism of Ryan Day, is that he doesn't understand the gravity of this rivalry and like how much it should mean to him.
What's he gonna do though? He's gonna go tackle a Michigan.
Like, talk to a single one of his players.
He's gonna go get maced.
I think he just has to talk to any of them, or like show any kind of sign that he wants to. I know he said in the post game press conference he talked about it, but I think my point's valid. Things about Ohio State though, big picture. Everyone's saying bring back Urban. So
I don't think
Urban did win a national championship. He clobbered Michigan. And I think the good thing about Urban, and like when it applies to this rivalry, is that people always say all the time that the more physical team wins this game against Ohio State and Michigan. And I agree. I 100% agree with that. I think the Urban teams just had more bad mother effers than Michigan did.
Yeah, they had more Jimmys and Joes. I agree with it.
It was every Urban Meyer team that he's ever coached outside of the Jaguars, I guess. But like, Urban Meyer teams had bad mother effers on them. Like, they had mean dudes, like bullies. Like, what's the Tim Robinson skit where he's like, everyone on my team is a bad person. like all of these guys are bad people. I'm not saying that, like, I don't know. I'm not saying that JT Barrett's a bad person or anything, but I'm just saying, like, everyone on those Ohio State teams was mean. Like, they were like tough dudes. And when it came to, like, they knew that this was the most important game, that beating Michigan and embarrassing them was a big deal. And like, it was like, these are not our friends. So I think with Urban, you had the more of a focus on beating Michigan and being mean. But also when it came to Urban, like, you would fumble games that you shouldn't fumble all the time. Like, you'd lose to Virginia Tech. You'd lose to Iowa. You'd lose to Purdue. Like, we're in Ryan Day's defense, this is the first time he's ever lost to an unranked team. And I'd love to see, like, I don't even know if he's ever lost to like a team in the top, like outside the top 15, if I'm being totally honest. Like, that Mizzou loss last year in the bowl game where no one was playing might have been the worst ranked loss of his career. If I'm trying to think back, I'm not really sure. But like, I don't know what you would trade of, like, you beat Michigan all the time, or like you might lose to the Michigan occasion, like but you're still a really good team. Like, you don't fumble those games away. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Michigan fans are going to tell you that the Urban Meyer situation is better. But in terms of, like, I don't know, like, I don't really have a dog in Ohio State versus Michigan. But I got to feel like, I don't know, like, I don't think Ryan Day's a bad coach still. I just don't think he can – this Michigan hump is just something he can't get over.
I mean, I think he's a great coach, but I mean, I'm also not an Ohio State fan. So I get, like, they're paying – one thing I will give Ryan Day credit for is – and for all the people that want Urban, he's going to leave a stink on your program in 3 to 4 years when he leaves.
Sure.
Like, he's going to – and Ryan Day did a pretty good job of – like righting the ship. I mean, if you look at Florida, they still haven't recovered from Urban Meyer. They still haven't recovered from Urban Meyer screwing them over.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan Day just kind of righted the ship, kind of like kept that program together when other programs haven't. I mean, look at the Jaguars up until now, but yeah, Urban Meyer, he's like, he'll give you 3 or 4 years of having bad dudes and winning games, and then it's just something's going to happen.
Then you're ruined.
Then you're ruined, yeah.
I mean, Urban won in 2015. He won a national title.
Yeah.
Ryan Day's also been like, he's been to one, and he's been in the playoff he's been to the playoff a couple times as well. Like, outside of losing to Michigan, it's still hard for me to be like, what are his sins? He was missed a field goal away from.
They lost this game against Michigan.
Like I said, this is the most shocking game I've ever.
And I can get where like Ohio State fans can feel frustrated because they're just like you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and especially too, like, if Michigan was really good again this year,
yeah,
I could be like, yeah, it's a tough, like, Michigan's a top 2 team in the country. Like, I get it. Like last year, nobody beat Michigan. I understand.
Well, I always thought it was strange, especially say the past 3 years, like Michigan, like especially the past 2 years. You know, Michigan had turned that corner where they were just a better football team. Mm-hmm. And I always thought it was comical of like, okay, why are Ohio State fans so mad at Ryan Day? Like, this is literally the only game he loses. And I get you can't lose this game. But I always thought it was funny. It was like, yeah, fire him. Like see who we're going to get. Like, see if it just, like, stays the same. Mm-hmm. But after yesterday, I was like, oh, man, maybe they do see something. Like, maybe they were right.
Mm-hmm. So here's the discussion that's to be had. A lot of people are like, fire Ryan Day. He should be fired tomorrow. It doesn't matter that we're in the playoff. I think that would be foolish. Like, you still have a chance to win a national title. I think that would be very foolish to get rid of Ryan Day now. The odds didn't go up as much as I thought they would, but, like, is it crazy for me now that they're up a little bit more to take Ohio State to win the whole thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Why not?
That's a good team.
Their odds doubled overnight.
They're not playing Michigan.
Quadruple. It would. They can't. They're not going to play Michigan again. And, like, in theory, the team's still the same. Like, I don't know if they have like the 4th best odds now to do it. Part of me was like, wow, that loss stinks. That was really embarrassing. Most embarrassing loss I've seen for Ohio State in a long time. What if I just took them to win the national title? What if I just said, like, if you're asking me right now, like, who would I take in a head-to-head with the majority of the teams that I think could be in the 12-team playoff, I'd probably still pick Ohio State, which is crazy. But it's just because it's not Michigan. I don't know. So here's the thing, too, is that they're going to be in the playoff no matter what. Some people are like, they shouldn't be in. That's crazy. They're going to be in no matter what. Yeah, I mean, you're pointing to yourself, but, like, yes, I understand it's embarrassing, but, like, in terms of the system we have, like they're going to be in the playoff. I don't know who's arguing that they're not going to be. Now, if Ryan Day loses in the first round, I could see him getting fired.
It's more than likely going to happen.
But if he wins a national title, I know it's still going to be sour because you got totally embarrassed by Michigan, and they are going to let you know that for sure. Mm-hmm. You can't get rid of him then either. I think even if he gets to the semis, you can't get rid of him. Like, if he gets in, I don't know. I saw like there was a mock-up that they could play Tennessee in the first round. If he loses like 45-10 to Tennessee, then he's done. He's out. But I don't think, again, too, like, I know all of his losses are to Michigan, but it's like part of me too, and like what we've seen in college football, like, I think, especially if he's winning games at playoff, it'd be really difficult to fire him.
I think Ohio State fans need to recognize how nice they have it. This is the first time.
Joey, they're not going to.
I know,
Yeah.
but like,
And they're going to tell you, like,
come on, guys.
our
Like,
expectations are winning championships. Our
Sure.
expectation is to beat Michigan.
I know they are.
Yeah. This is the excuse.
Maybe it'll come around. Stick with it. Like,
And here's what
you're spoiled.
Here's what I would
Why are you
compare it to
complaining?
is that we've seen in college football a lot, especially recently, that people get mad at their coach for not being national title contenders, for not being super elite. And then they instantly regret it and they get so much worse. Like, look at Nebraska recently. Bo Pelini was fine. He was a fine coach. Was he winning the national championship? No. But he was consistent. He was consistently a bowl team. They're ranked all the time. Like, they were a solid team. And now, like, they just got out of like a 10-year walk in the desert. Like, look at Wisconsin now. They didn't Paul Chris was consistently 9 or 10 wins. He has one or two bad years where they're like 8-4, 7-5, and they fire him. And now their bowl game streak's over. They made 22 in a row, and now they're not going this year because they thought they could do better. So I would worry with, especially right now, like everyone's like, oh, you just go get Vrabel. Why wouldn't everyone want to?
I don't think Vrabel doesn't want. Vrabel wants to be an NFL coach.
Yeah, you don't want to be a college coach.
I'd warn with Ohio State fans that want to get rid of Ryan Day is like, it could immediately get a lot worse. Like, if you don't like losing to Michigan, like at least dude, you could be in a situation where you're losing to Penn State too. You could keep losing to Oregon. You're losing, like, you could instantly regress. And that's like if that's the risk you're willing to take, it's the risk you're willing to take. But it's like we've seen it in college football. It was just like what can happen. So that's kind of my thought process on Ryan Day, I guess. Yeah. Any thoughts?
You said it best. I agree with you. I mean, I think there's a lot of teams that have gotten rid of their coaches thinking the grass was greener, and it just hasn't been.
Yeah.
It took Texas forever to get back after Mac Brown left.
Yeah.
So it's I mean,
like I don't.
It's funny it doesn't make it any less funny though.
Oh
no! This was
hilarious.
I was waiting the whole game. I was like, they have to win this eventually. There's just no way.
I kept thinking the same thing.
And like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight either, but I was like, I will hand up. Like, I was totally, I guess, completely wrong on this game. I don't know. And I think a little bit of credit to, like, everyone was dogging on Sharon Moore this year. And like, was it the year that I think I expect from Michigan, or Michigan fans wanted to know? Like, he inherited the controversy with Michigan, a worse roster, and was expected to do the same thing. This win against Michigan completely saves his season. Completely.
Absolutely.
Like, if he got blown out, he could have gotten fired today. But this saves all of it. And I was even texting our resident Michigan fan and former guest of In the Kitchen, Cooper Rich, like talking about Davis Warren. And he was like, yeah, like, it seems like a great dude, great story, just not a great football player. I was like, what do you think about now that his legacy is going to be that he's a kid from Michigan who beat cancer and beat Ohio State? And he's probably not going to start next year. Like, I don't even know if he'll be in the Michigan program, but like, that's what people are going to remember him for. Like, it doesn't even matter what happens in their bowl game.
Awesome story. Yeah.
Where if they lost this game, it would have been like he's the worst quarterback ever. Like, he had a great story, but he stunk. Where I'd almost now like the way I'm going to remember Davis Warren and the Michigan team was like, yeah, the dude was a 20-point underdog, and he still beat Ohio State. He beat what was supposed to be the best Ohio State team ever. He beat them, regardless. So if you're a Michigan fan, like, you just feel on top right now. You just got Bryce Underwood. You got one of the richest people in the world is single-handedly funding your team, and you beat Ohio State with one of your worst teams.
Oh, also, you're still reigning national champions for now.
Yeah, you're reigning national champions for I don't know, another month and a half basically. So there's that. This game though, it did send Penn State to the Big Ten title. They will play Oregon. Oregon, I haven't even talked about them in like 4 weeks. They had this. I feel like they clinched the playoffs a month ago.
Well, they clinched the playoffs when they beat Ohio State. Yeah. So there is that. But I'm curious to see how that game turns out. For Penn State fans, too, it will be interesting. Like, let's say Penn State beats Oregon. I think they'd be number one. And like Texas would have the argument too, but we'll see how that goes. It does feel a little weird. The 360 Penn State fans might make after losing to Ohio State to now like winning the Big Ten title would be insane. I'm very curious to see how that goes. ACC chaos continued. Started earlier in the day with Clemson. They lose to South Carolina. Fantastic game. Frustrating for a Clemson bettor like myself. I don't know why I keep believing in them. Do I think
they're a bad team? No. Are they a great team? Also, no. Even I'd say they're fine. Like I don't think 9-3 is a bad season. Like I'd say they're just a good team. Like they're not great though. Cade Klubnik started the game. There were people talking about like should he get an invite to New York? He's playing great. To then throwing just the worst pass of all time to end the game. They could have just ran the ball, kicked a field goal, and tied the game. But instead, he forces this pass that's just awful. I cannot believe he did it. And credit, like, Cade Klubnik played good. Lenore Sellers took over the game. Every time they needed a big play, he would scramble and score. He's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Ever since he got off that injury, he's been stellar for them. And South Carolina is a weird spot. I agree with everyone that they're the hottest team in college football right now. But the 3 weeks that they weren't are going to kill their season in terms of their playoff hopes. Like, I think if like those games have to matter. I know it was like 2 months ago, but like the two teams that are going to make arguments against them are Ole Miss and Alabama, and both those teams beat South Carolina.
Yeah.
So as much as I would love to see South Carolina in the playoff, like I love Lenore Sellers. I think that their argument's going to be really tough when like there's an SEC conga line to get in, and they lost to all the teams that are going to be arguing against them. So
I do too, but it's kind of funny because this just popped up on my Instagram.
Okay,
it's Clemson's resume.
Oh boy,
I don't know what it is. It's I mean,
you ready?
The Citadel.
0 ranked wins.
Nice.
Okay.
Lost to the only 2 ranked teams they played on their schedule.
Okay.
And embarrassed by unranked Louisville at home. But
that was bad.
But if they beat SMU on Saturday, they have a chance for a first round bye.
They will have
college football.
They will 100% have a first round bye, which is crazy. But hey, this is the world we live in.
It's the world we live in. Yeah, I wonder how quickly it will change too. Like I'm wondering.
I think it'll take 2026. I think you'll have it next year.
I think so. It's still pretty quick.
Because I think that's the next time they can't even change it.
Okay.
I think 2026 is the only allowed time. But this game is important though because now they have to actually have the discussion about South Carolina again. I don't think the chances are high, but it's not 0 now. If they lost this game, it was 0. But Clemson loses, and now they're in the ACC title game because Miami goes on the road and loses to Syracuse. This was a crazy game too because Syracuse is down 21-0. I bet Syracuse, and I predicted, by the way, in our ACC preview that Syracuse would beat Miami in this game and ruin their season. Credit to me.
To give you credit too, you brought it back up again on Wednesday, the midweek show this week. So I will give you 100% credit.
And I was such an idiot that I still didn't bet it in the washed up walk-on pick one. But it's okay. The people who listen to this show are rewarded. All right, the proud, they're rewarded for listening to this show. Miami loses, sends them to Clemson to title game. Miami's out now. I'm gonna be honest.
They're done. Their season's over.
I put together my own bracketology of like who I think's already in. I tried to crunch it. I don't see any way that they get in. I don't know how they could do it with the teams that have it locked up, and I don't think they're going to punish teams too much for playing in conference championship games this weekend. I think it's pretty much locked up that Miami's out, and it's unfortunate because I think Cam Ward is such a great player, and I would love to see him play in a playoff game. But I think you got to beat Syracuse. You got to beat who was it? Georgia Tech. Like those aren't games you can lose. Credit to Kyle McCord and Fran Brown, like turning Syracuse around. This was a good team for year one. This is fantastic. And Kyle McCord too. I saw he has more passing yards than Cam Ward in the ACC this year. Really? I know he threw. Yes, they put the graphic up. He had like 200 more yards. And I know he had 5 interceptions or whatever against Pitt. And it looked terrible. But outside of that, like it's a pretty good season for Kyle McCord. And like we talked about with Ohio State, like I think they might have realized that, like, hey, Kyle McCord wasn't that bad.
No,
like he wasn't the worst quarterback ever. So I'm happy for him. That video of him in the locker room too is just hilarious. Him just getting down with it. But Clemson's going to go to the title game now, and this is a tricky situation with SMU in the ACC chaos. So SMU, therein they will play Clemson. If Clemson beats SMU, they will be 11-2, and I think they personally should be in because I don't think they should be punished for playing this weekend. But the committee is 100% going to do anything they can to put them in. They are 100% going to do it. I'm preparing for it mentally. I think it's wrong. I don't think SMU should be punished for doing that, especially since they beat their only losses would be to the ACC champion and then to BYU.
But here's your problem, though, is if SMU loses, there's nothing like that allows them to get in. South Carolina going in over SMU.
Yeah,
Again, I don't.
bet Ole Miss would go in.
Alabama and Ole Miss are in front of South
No,
Carolina.
I'm saying like you can't. SMU's like they can't get in. They can't get in if they lose to a Clemson team that South Carolina, that a team on the bubble potentially lost to
Sure.
less than a week ago.
But it's just the added game is everyone's issue.
I get it, but
it's hard to punish teams for
get
playing a game that they're forced to play.
I
That
understand.
other teams aren't.
I understand.
Like when if Alabama jumps them by sitting at home while SMU had to play another game, people are going to be very upset about that.
But they're going to.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like if Clemson beat South Carolina, I would have felt a lot better about it. But I don't know how much I trust Clemson anymore.
You got to. I think you also have to like. I get it. I get it. But like, if SMU loses to Clemson, what 7 days ago you saw the fifth SEC team beat Clemson. Like it's not a good look. Some of these conferences, the Big 12 and the ACC, just didn't put themselves in good positions. They didn't.
No, I will say.
And I get the extra game, and I get, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can put them in if they lose. I'm gonna play the opposite side of you.
My issue is that like SMU's resume isn't horrible either. Like they spanked Louisville, who Louisville's going to be ranked this week, and Louisville beat Clemson as well. Like and if their only loss is BYU early in the season, I think their resume is not as bad as like people make it out to be.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying like they can't lose to Clemson.
Yeah, no, I don't think
can't.
I'm saying it here too. Like I think it's wrong, but I believe that if they lose, Alabama will get in. They will 100% do that to get
Definitely. 1,000%.
And then also too.
I mean, I think Alabama's in with Miami not being in.
No, so here's okay.
Oh, that's right.
This is over Alabama.
I'm gonna bring in my bracketology then, because this is where I put it together. Here's the list, okay? Teams that clinched it already. These teams are in: Oregon, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia, Tennessee, Indiana, Texas. They could lose next week, or they're at home. They're in no matter what. I don't know how they would get eliminated at this point.
Okay.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. These games are buys. Automatic ins is ACC champion, Big 12 champion, and then Mountain West. That's going to be because UNLV is ranked so high, it doesn't matter. So that's 3 more, right? So you're at 11, and then you have 1 more spot left for either SMU if they lose, or potentially like the next team in, which would be Alabama.
I think
like Miami has no path.
No, nor should they.
No. But that's like again, like there's really only 1 spot available.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfortunately going to be given to Alabama, even though I think it's wrong. Let's talk a little bit of SEC. Texas A&M, they lose. They could have made a real difficult decision for the committee if they won the SEC championship, or if they beat Texas this weekend. It would have been interesting. There would have had to been a discussion about Texas's resume. There would have had been a discussion about even Georgia if they. I think Georgia would have made it anyway, but it would have caused a lot of chaos if a 3-loss A&M won the SEC this year. They avoid all of that because Texas. I'll be honest, I was impressed. I was thoroughly impressed by Texas. They physically dominated this game. It was going to be their best win of the season regardless, but I thought they looked really good. Like I thought in a big moment, they showed up and looked great. Am I convinced that Quinn Ewers is healthy still? No. Do I think he can win playoff games though? Yeah, I think he can. Like I think he showed it today too. I will say A&M though, disappointed a little bit. Like they're in the Marcel Reed that we saw against LSU. I don't know where he went. I know he only threw the ball 5 times in that game, but it has disappeared. And I think part of it is Texas defense looked really good, but they couldn't do anything on offense. That score was the pick 6, and that was it. And then they got to the goal line and couldn't do anything again.
Get like to the red zone and it's just nothing.
Yeah, like A&M got completely shut down this game. And it is kind of interesting when I watch Texas. I noticed 2 things when I watch Texas play this game. Is that 1, Arch Manning is not on my team, but I think I get the most fired up for him of any player right now. Like whenever Arch goes in there, I'm like,
let's go, Arch.
Man, come on, dude, let's go. Like he scored that touchdown earlier in the game, and I was like, yes, Arch, let's go. Like
that was a good run too.
Whenever he gets in the game, I turn into I put on my cowboy hat and burnt orange, and I'm like, let's go, guys, come on, Arch, take it to him.
McConaughey book.
I don't know if that's gonna last when he becomes a starter, but hey, it is what it is right now. It's so unfair too. Texas, like a lot of teams are screwed if they get to their backup quarterback. I'm gonna like let's say like Quinn Ewers got hurt or something and couldn't play. Texas, I'm like, okay, I don't know.
I don't think the line moves.
Arch, it might change by 1 point, but like Arch is pretty good. Like I would trust Arch against a lot of teams in the country, so they have that going as well. Other thing is that Steve Sarkisian, and this has been going on for a while, he has early onset Kirk Ferentz, where he gets a multiple touchdown, like 2 touchdowns, 10 points, 15 points, lead over team, and he is just more than comfortable with just sitting on the ball for 3 quarters and doing absolutely like just okay, yeah, our defense is good. We're just gonna run the ball and chill. Like he did it against Arkansas, he did it in this game. He kind of did it against Michigan. Like I think they were scoring by accident at times against Michigan, but like he's more than comfortable. Like as soon as they get a 2 touchdown lead of just like, okay, we're just going to be the most physical team out there, which I think is better. Like part of why I'm impressed with Texas is that like, yeah, dude, 17 points is enough for that defense to feel really good.
That was never a game.
Yeah. Like I mean, I bet A&M in this game truthfully, and I felt horrible about it the entire time. I did not feel good. I felt really bad when the game started with a Texas A&M sing along, like it was a Disney movie.
Yeah, what was that? How do you? I was like, is this the right broadcast? Is this an A&M broadcast?
I thought I was on the like, you know how SEC Network does the like all 22 broadcast or whatever. I thought that's what I was on because it was just uninterrupted, like 10 minutes of just like lyrics and singing.
Excuse me, Mr. Herbstreit, can you say something right now? Like,
yeah, please, Kirk, just give us
interrupt this.
Just tell us something to let us know you're okay, please, Kirk. But yeah, I will say I'm thoroughly impressed with Texas. They are before this game, I might have taken them out of the like I believe they can win a national title. I think that I was very impressed. I think they're 100% in the national title discussion. I think this helped eliminate a lot of the questions around Texas. Like I still don't think A&M's the most impressive team out there, but handling them like they did, like the score does not do justice of how spread it felt between these teams. I like Texas right now. I'm gonna be honest, and especially heading into the SEC championship too. Like if we're talking about what team look better, like Texas looked better than Georgia this week, which is a good transition to this Georgia game. Friday night, little rewind. Georgia and Georgia Tech goes down to the wire, 8 overtimes. Credit to Haynes King and Georgia Tech. They fought super hard out there. They've been a fun team all season. They've given a ton of teams trouble. They've come so far as a program, especially Haynes King too. Like, you guys remember when he played at A&M? He was just like one of the weirdest quarterbacks out there.
Yeah,
he's still weird. He still does crazy things, but he's controlled it now. He's like harnessed the power of the force.
Chaos.
Like before, Haynes King was like Luke Skywalker when he doesn't know the force yet. He's like knocking things over and everything's going crazy. But now he's like Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker. He's wearing all black. He's running out there taking down evil empires. But he was great in this game. I don't understand Georgia. Like after this game, I will still say Georgia can win the national title.
I was literally about to ask that quick. Can they win a national championship though?
Yeah.
Carson Beck
simply because it's Kirby in Georgia.
Something's off, man.
There is something off. But I feel like something's off of college football too. Like
that's a fair point.
Like no one's playing that great. I could see, like I'm going to be honest. I don't want to play like Georgia in the first round. I don't want to play Georgia ever. But I would be lying if I said this team looked as good as the other ones before. I think what's helping them is that they have these, like when they need to show up, they've shown up to big games. Like I know they lost to Alabama, but I think Alabama is like I said, I still think they're like a decent team. Them smashing Texas kind of showed what they can be. Their floor is lower and their ceiling is about the same as last year and the years before that. But I think what's big too is that they squeak by these teams, like the Kentucky game this year. Like Kentucky finished 4-8 this year. They're not good.
What was it, 13-12 or something like that?
Yeah, it was a 1-point game.
Yeah.
Like you have a bad 3 quarters versus UMass last week. Georgia has these kind of moments. At least they're not losing, which is huge. Like they're definitely going to be a battle-tested team. But like this game was at home versus Georgia Tech too. Like it's not like they're on the road, rivalry game, tough environment. It's again, I love Georgia Tech. They're not amazing, so I don't know the floor and ceiling for Georgia's different this year, but this game was definitely concerning because if they lost this game, I think they were going to be out.
Oh, it was over.
Yeah.
100%.
And to get taken to 8 overtimes too, like Georgia Tech had a play to win it multiple times. I don't know what and this is where too, I hate that they didn't go for 2. You are pulling the upset. You are a 19-point underdog. Go for 2. End this. The more you're out there, like the math sits, like they have better players. They got better recruits. They got athletes. The longer you keep playing this game, it's gonna like attrition. It's gonna work out for Georgia. Like end it. I also think the play calling is weird in overtime. I'm gonna be honest. Like
how many
Georgia
conversion plays you have?
Yeah.
Well, Georgia finally figured it out at their 8th overtime. Like, hey, why don't we just run it? It's 2 yards.
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing all these end around reverse plays going backwards 5 yards? When, I don't know, our offensive line is pretty good. Like, we could just run it at them. We'll probably get in. I don't know why coaches are doing this. Like, we got to run all these weird plays. That's kind of my point.
I did like Kirby calling a timeout before when they were on defense every time. I
don't think you should be allowed to do that.
I guarantee they're going to change the rule after this year.
It's a little loophole.
Yeah, guarantee.
I didn't even think about the bad timeout that Ryan Day called. We just didn't even bring that up. He called 2 timeouts in a row, and it screwed their team over.
Yeah,
lost in the game. Anyways, sticking to the SEC, the Iron Bowl was this weekend. You guys are Auburn fans. You played in and witnessed the Iron Bowl this weekend. Or I guess your team played it. You didn't play in it. But how are we feeling? This is a safe space. Talk it out with us. The Iron Brawl, the Iron Bowl. Go ahead.
I mean, it's just a cap to a bad season.
Yeah, culmination.
Yeah. The reign of terror, the reign of Peyton Thorne is over. Hopefully we get a portal QB. Hopefully we sign our 5-star. I am impressed with our young players. Our freshman and sophomore players actually had a really good season. I hope we can keep as many of them as possible, keep them out of the transfer portal. It sucks for players like Jarquez Hunter, Eugene Asante, good players who've been at Auburn for a long time. They'll never – I mean, I guess they'll get to see their hard work hopefully pay off in the next couple of years, but they didn't get to win very much while they were here, so that sucks. But this game was disappointing. There's some dodo play calls, just some bad things that happened. We won the turnover battle 4-1.
Okay.
And we had 1 touchdown. Like, come on. We're in the red zone like 5 times. 1 touchdown. We got to convert on some of those. And it sucks. I hate losing Alabama. I just hate these guys. So. I don't know how you feel about it, Zach, but I'm just disappointed. Like,
how many in a row is this for Alabama? How many in a row?
5. 2019 was our last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
it could be me too. That's
I was going to say
I became a fan in 2019. So
yeah, there's a pattern here. I notice. I'm noticing a pattern. Joey shows up, and it hasn't been great.
Yeah. I mean, we had the ball at like 4th and 2 at the 2-yard line, and this
going into half.
And he's got, but we already tried it. But we already he's got no confidence that.
But that's what he's sending the message. Exactly.
I know,
he has no confidence, but you can't. You go for it. Let your players at least think that you have confidence in them.
I don't know.
Right?
I'm just happy it's over, to be honest with you. I like our young Cam Coleman came on super strong at the end of the year. And if we can keep him on the team, we got a lot of kids coming in for next year, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I was looking. We finished 5-7. I mean, should have beat Oklahoma. Should have beat Missouri. Should have beat Vanderbilt.
Should be Cal.
Cal, we played awful. Like but those 3 games right there, we were winning late in those 3 games. So could have easily flipped around. I still didn't feel confident. Like even when it was semi-close, I'm like, man, like if we don't do anything here, Alabama's gonna come down and do something. And that's what it just felt like the whole time. We won Maui. So
it's basketball season.
There is that. So yeah, we're a basketball school.
If you guys lose the basketball Iron Bowl this year, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be bad. it's going to be bad.
Well, we got. I think we play them twice, so at least we got. Yeah.
I think you
We
guys
play
have to.
them at Alabama the last game of the season, I think.
Oh,
We'll
no.
be all right. But no,
It'll be
it's.
fun.
We'll see. I mean, this is coming into this offseason. This is kind of where we can get the Brian Harsin era completely done with. This is Hugh Freeze's team moving forward. So we will see what happens.
A couple keys in this offseason. I think we got to figure out an OC situation. I don't know if Derek Nix was it. I think we got to pay DJ Durkin all the money he wants because that guy rocks.
Well, you got to be careful with his baggage. So just he needs to be careful there. But yes, he's really good.
I mean, if he can keep his guys, our young guys, I think
we
could have a pretty good defense. And
I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to. So hopefully it all kind of works out.
Okay. Iron Bowl.
You have any thoughts?
Iron Bowl.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think this was I'll be honest. I don't think you told me in the preseason review that it was 10 wins, 8 wins. I don't know if I ever bought into that. I think I had you guys around like 6, like just another bowl game. So I think it is disappointing that you guys didn't make a bowl game this year. And I do think depending on it honestly starts right now of next year is the what do we do? It's got to either show improvement with you. I think if you miss a bowl game next year with you, it's some real questions need to be asked.
Oh,
I don't think it's 7 or 8 wins next year.
I don't think it's lasting. Yeah.
So, but also I think you can already tell now what he does in the portal. If he keeps guys on his team, because this is college football now, you have to keep guys too, right? The guys that are committed and on your team. If he loses one of your receivers, it's going to be
yeah, yep.
So I think really you're going to literally right now, December 1st starts of prove it, Hugh. It's just I think he can do it, but he's got to prove it. So I don't know. And like I said, I think you're one game away from where I kind of expected you guys to be. So it's not the end of the world. But I do think a little bit of it too was when we talked about Auburn in the preseason, I felt like a lot of it was I feel like a lot of the hype around Auburn is not on campus yet. It's recruiting coming up. So I think that's good too. And I know it kind of got dismissed a little bit, but I think it ended up showing throughout the season. And I think that's fine. When you have a newer coach, I think it's fine to be hey, we're not we're looking forward to next year. There's a lot of teams that are doing that right now. I don't think that's the worst place to be, especially in the chaos of this year. Right? I don't know if I wanted to it's very loser talk, but it's burning a 9-8-4 season right now. It's okay, I don't know, but let's run through a little bit of these quickly here. Notre Dame, USC. Notre Dame is locked in the playoff. They're in. I think, they're in discussion now for the 5 seed since Ohio State lost. I think it in theory should still go to Penn State. I just think losing. I know Ohio State's loss to Michigan was embarrassing, but I think Ohio State's loss, losing to Ohio State is better than losing to NIU. So I agree. I think the loser of the Big Ten championship still should be the 5 seed. I wouldn't surprise me if it was Notre Dame, just based off the way the seeding's going. But yeah, this game, I'm going to be honest with you, the score doesn't show how close it was. USC had chances to go win this game 100%. This was the worst cover or a non-cover of my life. I had USC plus 7.5. They had a chance to go tie the game up. They go to the red zone, 99-yard pick 6. They get another chance to go cover the game, 7.5. They drive down, 100-yard pick 6. It's even worse. On CBS, they're talking about they literally jinxed them on CBS. They're wow, you can't run it back much more than that. And he did it the next drive. He had an even deeper pick 6. You do kind of have to raise some questions a little bit, though, I know it's a rivalry game, but this USC team's not great. And I know it's Lincoln Riley, but that's a backup quarterback that was scoring a lot. I do think Notre Dame's playing decent football, but also you got to remember too, USC's not going to a bowl game. USC hasn't been very good this year. So Nebraska, I felt gave a better game or I guess Nebraska lost to USC, but at times they were, they held less points. So, or the same amount of points, something like that. You get my point. Regardless, there are teams that I think looked better against USC this year. That's kind of my point. But yeah, Notre Dame's in regardless of what happens. Big 12. It's now Iowa State and Arizona State will play in the Big 12 championship. Iowa State, this is their first 10-win season ever. They were the second to last team in college football. It took them 133 years to do it. Congratulations. It was about time. 133 years. and
Who's
now
the
you're
last?
celebrating it. It is Vanderbilt.
Ah,
Yeah, it was Indiana, Iowa State, and Vanderbilt entered the season as the only teams without 10 wins. And Iowa State now has 10 wins. I don't know. I stand by that. I think Arizona State is built the best to compete in the playoff. Will they win the Big 12 championship? I have no idea. But this kind of leads into a little bit of like, do you guys want to do Heisman now? Because I think it's locked up. I think Travis
aren't
Hunter
the odds
is
like minus 10,000 right now.
Yeah, I would be. I think Travis Hunter's got it. Colorado beats Oklahoma State 52-0. It's a blowout. I wrote down these are the guys I had, and this is I think everyone's list: Travis Hunter, G&T, and Cam Ward.
Yeah.
And then I think they'll invite a fourth. I don't know if there's a rule that they have to even, but I kind of feel like it should be Shador. I mean, I think it could easily be Dylan Gabriel, just based off of the undefeated season quarterback, number one team. Like, if I'm being honest, I think Shador means more to CU. I don't know, and I think the biggest argument against Shador is that the winner's on his team. And I was like, I don't know if that's really a punishment to him. Like, Travis is an unbelievable player, but gosh, I think Shador's had a great season too. I just don't think he was as good as Travis's.
Yeah, very fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are some other things here? All right, this is just a list. We can go through it quickly. Iowa, Nebraska. That's my team. The Iowa Hawkeyes, we beat Nebraska the same exact way we beat them last year. It was 13-10 this year. It was 13-10 this year. This was the Kirk Ferentz magnum opus, the perfect Kirk Ferentz game. Joey, I know you were just glued to the TV watching this one on Friday night on NBC. So here is the box score for Iowa in this game. They had 164 yards. They had the ball for 20 minutes. They had 5 first downs. They went 0-10 on third down. They had 49 rushing yards and 155 passing yards, and they won.
And you won.
And we won. I love that Iowa
will win right there.
I love that Iowa wins these games. I love it so much. It makes everyone so mad. I saw someone send me a stat of I believe it was passing yards. Here's what it is. Record with fewer than 200 passing yards since 2018. Iowa is 6-7. The rest of FBS combined is 18 and 403. So Iowa and Kirk Ferentz, they've got the magic. And this is just hilarious too, that this is literally the exact same way Nebraska lost last year. They had the ball with under a minute left, and they turn it over, and Iowa kicks a field goal. It's the exact same way. And it is like Nebraska can't escape themselves. It just is what it is. And I think, unfortunate for Nebraska, like Kirk Ferentz is the last coach you want to play when all you do is shoot yourself in the foot. And it's proven in the box score every year. Like Iowa doesn't have to do. Iowa's had a fourth string quarterback the past 2 years and still beating you. And I know there's a lot of controversy going around, like the handshake thing. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's just like Iowa fans know this, that like Nebraska cares more. Like Iowa has other games, other rivalries that mean more to them than Nebraska. Like I think the average Iowa fan, their rival is Iowa State, and to Nebraska, and it's partly just because they got thrown into the Big Ten recently, and it's like, who's our rival going to be right now? I guess it's Iowa, but like, I don't like it's just that's the ultimate summary of it. It's like they want it. I think Nebraska wants this to be something that's just not right now, and I think this did a lot to it. Like you had Coach Rule like walking through warm-ups and stuff of Iowa players. There was a little scrum at the 50-yard line. I think this definitely heats it up, but it's still. It's almost like Michigan State's a rivalry, but Michigan's rival is Ohio State.
Yeah,
and I think it's like I don't know if it's the best situation for Nebraska to be in. Is my thing there, and I don't even know who their rival really is outside of Iowa. Like I know they don't like Wisconsin, but is it even a trophy? Like there's no trophy. I don't know, but it felt good. Yeah, it's they don't play Colorado every season though.
Right.
Like they don't play Oklahoma every season. I think they should. Like Iowa State's not in our conference, but we've played them for 70 years in a row outside of COVID. That's our out of conference game every year because it's like, hey, this is the rivalry. We have to do it. Yeah. No matter how good or bad Iowa State is, and or how bad or good Iowa is. So I think Nebraska's in a weird spot. I do think it's good that they're in a bowl game, guys. Like I think that's Nebraska, guys. You made a bowl game. Like I know everyone's jumping down rules throat. It's like, dude, Rule just got Nebraska to a spot that no other coach did for 10 years. he broke the like ceiling or whatever on Nebraska. So there's that. But I'm happy for Iowa. I don't know. I saw some people saying we might be in the Mayo Bowl potentially. The idea of Kirk getting dunked in Mayo would be very fun. So we'll see what that's. But Caleb Johnson had the coolest run I've ever seen. Like he's not going to win the Heisman, but it was the closest I've ever seen an Iowa player to doing it. Like the touchdown that he had against Nebraska, literally just put the team on his back. He ran through 4 dudes, like 70+ yard touchdown. I don't know if you guys saw a clip of it or not, but insane stuff. Gonna miss him. He declared for the NFL today, so that's my kind of Iowa point. Shout out the 4th-string walk-on quarterback going undefeated as a starter in the Raiders.
There you go.
What do you know?
That's huge.
I don't know how we end up there every Iowa season now. We get to the 4th-string walk-on quarterback, but hey, at least he's winning. SEC snow. Arkansas versus Missouri was just I saw like Sicko's committee tweet out like this is the football game of all time. If you had to show I think their direct quote was like if you had to show someone football, but it was also the conditions were like don't get me too excited, just explain to me why people like this. Like you don't want to show them the best game, you just want to show them the game of all time. Show them Arkansas, Missouri in the snow. It's the ultimate just like this is why we like college. Seeing snow in the SEC though is crazy because
wow.
You got like the Bills just finished up playing on Sunday Night Football. Snow's everywhere, right? Like snow is not the rarest thing called in football or college football even. But there's a difference between like Buffalo has the field at least ready. They know what to do, where Missouri is just so unprepared for snow. The field is awful. It's covered in ice. None of the players want to be there. They're like, it is just a total disaster. Also, Arkansas should 100% cover that game, but they let Brady Cook run into the end zone with 30 seconds left. But that's a different debate we can have. Marshall versus JMU kind of rules. That was an awesome game. I don't know if anyone watched it, but it came down to overtime, end of the night. And then lastly, I have Gus Malzahn after a statement 4-8 season, he resigns to become the offensive coordinator at Florida State. Which
take his same 6 plays to Florida State.
I don't know if that was, like Nebraska just did this. They brought in Dana Holgorsen to be OC. And I think I could see that being like, okay, I think that could improve the team. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, that makes sense. What are we accomplishing with Florida State by doing that? Like you got to do, like, this isn't the one thing that's going to fix this program. Like you didn't just get here because you didn't have Gus, like after who went again 4-8. It's not like UCF had the best offense ever this year and they just wanted to capture it. Like they just like this was the like verbal meme. It's Alex Jones's weight loss and he's just like more red. Like
stand back.
What did you do? Like I don't understand this.
I love Gus. I always will love Gus, but that offense is a little outdated.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's scoutable.
It's a little outdated.
You know what he's going to do every situation.
Yeah. But I think that's all the college football points I had. Do you guys got anything else? Is FCS playoffs, does that start next week?
No, it started yesterday. So it starts heavy. Shoot. It gets heavy this week.
Okay. I'll be looking out for that.
You had the teams with bye, so I think you're down to 16, but everybody's playing. Okay. So 8 teams had a bye last week. So like the Montana States, the North Dakota States, South Dakota States were off.
Yeah. Okay.
So we get to the meat of it this weekend.
Okay, good. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about football. Do we want to bring up the Colin Cowherd tweet? Did you guys see this tweet?
I did not.
He tweeted out, and everyone just made fun of him because, this started 4 or 5 weeks ago, where he tweeted out at halftime of the Penn State game. They were up against Penn State. He tweets out a video of himself. He's like, a lot of people are going to be apologizing to Lincoln Riley or whatever in his Colin Cowherd voice. Since that moment, I think they've won 1 game. I think they beat Nebraska and UCLA. Since then, like it's been all downhill. And he tweets out this. He says yesterday, it just dawned on me. USC has gotten worse the last 3 years. Like, hey, dude, like it is. He tweeted that out at 5:33 p.m. on November 30th. We have realized that, like, since last year, since October of this year. Like, what do you mean it just dawned on you? Like he was too busy getting mad at Lamar Jackson for wearing a backwards hat or something, or wearing sunglasses on the bench. I don't know, but just a weird tweet of like, I'm gonna start tweeting that out. Like, the next time my team has a bad season, or like the next time we look bad or something. It's too late now to do it this year. Actually, no, it's not. I'm gonna tweet it out. I might tweet it out anyway. Like, it just dawned on me. Iowa did not have as good of a season as last year. It's just, what a crazy thing to say. I don't know. Do you guys got anything else, or do we want to do trivia?
Coward.
Hit us with the trivia, Joey.
That's funny. All right, fellas. I got a little NFL trivia today.
Okay.
Grant, can you tell me who has the most receiving yards as a rookie tight end in NFL history? In their rookie season.
What's crazy? It's crazy that I'm even considering Brock Bowers right now. Is it Brock? You're smiling. Okay,
No,
but like he's
like
having that good. He's having that good of a season.
Great season. Yeah.
So there is that. Oh gosh, maybe. Ooh. Okay. Is it
recent?
No.
I was gonna say it's like Tony Gonzalez or
No, older than that.
Really? Is it Dallas Clark?
No.
Kelvin Winslow Sr.
No.
No.
Crazy
Is it
fool.
pre or post 2000?
Post or pre? Sorry, it's a long time ago.
That eliminated
like
my
80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, a long time ago.
That eliminated my Aaron Hernandez guess. You're gonna have to tell me, Joey. I have no idea.
It's Mike Ditka.
Really?
Okay.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for Ditka.
He had 1,076 receiving yards. It's rookie.
Good for him. Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that. Is he? What does that put him on? Like third all time on Bears receivers? Is that what puts him there? Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Is there another one?
Yeah. Who did I ask that to? Did I ask Grant? Zach. Who has the most rushing yards as a rookie in NFL history?
Chris Johnson.
No, I like that. Guess though.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Who has the most rushing yards in their rookie season in the NFL?
Oh my gosh. Is it recently? It has to be recently.
It's not.
Oh geez. Well, we guessed Aaron Hernandez. Is it O.J. Simpson?
It's not.
Okay, that was stupid. I don't know. Is it not a recent running back? Like pre or post 2000? 80s? Jeez. Okay.
I know it. I think I know it now.
Then guess.
Eric Dickerson.
Yep. It's Eric Dickerson.
Oh,
nice.
Good job. What year was that?
83.
Okay. All right. I will take that then. Great show, guys. I love talking college football with you guys. That is our show. I don't think NFL this week. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys.
Why aren't we doing NFL this week?
Me and Mr. Bush here will be boots on the ground for Broncos.
We'll interview Jameis in person.
Blessed to see Jameis. I hope they won't do it, but I hope that they just go on that beautiful new big screen they got in at Mile High Stadium. Just the pregame Jameis interview that they're going to do on TV. They won't do it, but they should. I'm excited to see it. I don't know. My NFL comments.
I'll send you the pregame. I'll send you all the pregame.
Yeah, give us a clip. We need to watch it.
I don't know. NFL comments this week. Bryce Young almost did it again. Is that fair to say?
He's playing well. He's playing okay.
Eagles doing great. Cooper DeJean doing great. Bears, did the right thing. Firing Eberflus. Not sure what we were thinking there. And I don't know. Do I have anything? Oh, and Chiefs Voodoo Magic. Stop. Satanic.
Every time.
They were quoting Paulie Walnuts from Sopranos. Like six satanic shit they're doing. I will say that I don't know if anyone was really realizing it, but the Colts Patriots had so massive playoff implications. Like if the Colts lost that game and the Broncos win on Monday night, there would have been a 3-game gap between the last wildcard spot and the next team in. But now if the Broncos lose on Monday, there's only a 1-game gap with a lot of time to go. So that was potentially huge. Like the Colts really avoided disaster today against the Patriots. So that's my NFL comments on the week. If you guys want to blurt out one, go ahead. But no NFL show. yeah, that's our show. We will, if you made it this far, thank you. Leave a review. Go to YouTube. Go like it up there. Go do something. Subscribe. Who knows? Tell a friend to tell a friend about In the Kitchen. And